Me too. The fingers go. Got me. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company. It is Monday night, so that means it is the Escorts, which is these people all around me. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our supporters, and that includes our sponsor, D&D Beyond. That is D, the letter N, dbeyond.com. Go there. You can get a free account where you can use the open source material to create a character, organize your campaigns. It really is worth it to buy the books and have them in digital form so that way you can take them with you wherever you go. Such as yesterday, I played an Adventurers League where I had my character created. Orbach, the half-orc paladin, who's very big about notifying everybody that he's all about the vengeance. So... yeah. Anyways, D&D Beyond also helps you organize your campaigns like this campaign that we're playing tonight. I have it organized on dndbeyond.com, and you can actually see the plugin there if you hover over it. The plugin will actually show you, excuse me, where all of our players are, and if you click on any of their names, it'll actually show you their stats and blocks and things like that. So feel free to play around with that. Open it up in a new tab. Thank you for everyone who subscribes to our Patreon or becomes a patron. As a matter of fact, we just had a new patron at the $75 mark, which gives them a 1-hour consultation with me to help them develop their world, their game, give them advice, and teach them on how to do things, all sorts of stuff like that. So if you would like an exclusive one-on-one, we have a couple of tiers in there. One of those is a 30-minute and the other one is a 1-hour one. But yeah, any donation, any support we greatly appreciate, as it goes to pay my officially two staffers now, as well as paying for all the licensing and things like that. So thank you one and all for all of that support. Now, you didn't come here to listen to all of that. What you did come here to listen to is what happened last week, so we can catch you up. They were exploring the undercroft of the keep once again when they found out that part of this was a prison. Several prison cells beyond a gate were locked, and as they investigated further, they found the last doors on the left-hand side were mostly eaten away, and something had pushed itself through the rock. Burrowed holes were found in there, and as somebody investigated a little close for comfort, they were facing rust monsters. Luckily, none of them had anything on them that would be eaten, because I think the heaviest armor wearer is Tangaroa, who wears bone armor. However, they quickly defeated the rust monsters, and investigating the rest of it, they found stacks of what appears to be human, dwarf, elven, and halfling bodies that were, dwarven, human, and elven bodies that were stacked like cordwood, long decomposed. And they found these messy feathers of browns and like very earthen tones. While they were investigating, Zastari noticed a movement out of the corner of her eye, and as she went to pursue it, leaving a message with Tangaroa saying, "Follow me in 15 minutes. Tangaroa, being the stalwart individual that he is, decides 15 minutes is too soon or too long of a wait. Zastari followed the large hulking figure down into a deeper part of the undercroft, where she was confronted with an Avianis in the form of an owl, looming over her, taller than even the tallest, or almost taller than the tallest of their party. He stood broad-shouldered. What started out as a parley quickly turned into a hostage situation as the torches descended the steps, trying to rescue their friend who they thought was in danger. And we pick up tonight. Zastari is being held in the clutches of the owl. You can see he's got his double-bladed weapon, one point of it just underneath her breastbone, like right underneath where he can jive into her heart. As you come down the staircase, he grumbles, "Stay where you are. I'll kill her, I promise."
He'll stop when he says that.
Satya waves.
He tips, and you watch his feathers on the left side kind of arch up.
Hi, are you one of the Avianis folks?
Maybe. Who are you to ask?
Well, we met some of your kind before, although they didn't look as big or as owly as you.
What did they look like?
Well, he looked a little bit like a crow, actually. Pretty sleek, black feathers, snuck up on the two people that were watching our camp. Really big sword.
Corvus.
Yeah, that was them.
There's
his-
a Corvum.
His name was Abilis Karak.
Black feathers is black feathers. They're all the same.
Fair enough.
He is Corvum. I am Strig.
1 second. Strig, huh? Interesting. So is there other various kinds of Avianis?
Many kinds, yes.
He literally claps out of excitement. Well, would you mind sitting down with me at some point and talking to me about that? That sounds
Raphael,
interesting.
You're great, but this is not the time for this.
What? It's interesting stuff.
We kind of have a hostage situation going on right now.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
when he doesn't have a blade to Zastari's throat.
I promise. I'll let you
Do
finish
I look
your
at all
meeting.
threatening to you right now, just asking him about his people and how interesting they are?
Too many voices. Stop.
So-
Okay. Listen, your name again, please. Strig?
No, I am Strig. Not my name.
Oh, I apologize. What is your name?
Burnus.
I am Tangaroa.
Bernis. Burnus.
Barnes. I am Tangaroa. There's no reason we can't solve this peacefully. If you would return my friend to me, we'll be on our way. And we won't touch anything else. We will just... That's easy said. Easy.
Give me a persuasion check.
So Sawtail kind of goes over to a corner and pouts, petting his owl.
Oh, I did take persuasion.
Oh.
12.
Do you have your owl out? As I thought you put your owl away.
I'm
He-
gonna...
He called his owl back out as he goes over there and pouts.
I'm gonna use my inspiration, though.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot better. 25.
Okay. He looks around with eyes that are sharp, and you can see that he's taking in each and every one of you. The gigantic, like, people disappeared. The gigantic Oni with the horns. He looks at Mello, who kind of, you don't really glow, but you know, you have that kind of look about you. He looks at Satael, who is petting the owl, and his eyes kind of widen for a moment. He takes in Zora, he takes in Tangaroa, and then finally he just kind of like you feel his muscles tighten, but not in a way that he's like trying to hold you tighter, but like he's moving himself. And he gets down low enough and he goes, "These are your friends."
Most of them.
He looks at you, Tangaroa, and says, "I let it go. You don't hurt me.
Of course.
You swear?"
I promise.
You feel the blade being lowered. And then you feel yourself being like shoved forward. And he kind of slinks back, and passive perceptions again from everybody. What is your passive perception?
11.
17.
14.
15.
16.
Eric, what was Satails again?
15.
Okay. Steve?
Steve, unmute.
You're muted, Steve.
12.
12. Who had the 17? Was that Q? All right.
Yes.
You watch as he backs away, you notice he's not walking with a regular gait, like what you would expect any bipedal creature to walk with. He seems to be like shuffling one foot as he kind of moves himself back.
Are you injured?
What is your passive perception?
Oh, I don't notice that.
Yep, only Q.
Oh, I was gonna ask the same thing anyway. Are you injured?
Old wounds. They heal.
But never right.
Never right. You know medicine?
Not me, personally, but I'm sure we do have... We do have some. Do you live here?
For now.
Would you let one of us take a look? You can break my hand if it helps.
Maybe. I don't want to make fight. Not looking for trouble. Just want to be left alone.
Well, healing yourself up and then being alone seems better odds, does it not?
Possibly.
We could always tell you where we'll be down here. That way you can make sure, if you don't want to be where we're going, you could be somewhere else.
I see where you're going. I hear you.
Yeah, we're kind of loud. Yeah. How long have you been down here?
Don't recall.
Were there others down here with you, or are you alone?
My clutch here. We fight. Further down. Cost lives, many. I'm all that's left.
She'll pull out one of the feathers that she would have taken from the room with the bodies. Were these from your kin?
He kind of peers at it.
Not Strigg. Not mine.
Okay. Puts it back in her bag.
You watch as he takes the double-bladed weapon and plants it in the dirt, and then kind of and sits down on the ground and then lays it across his lap. And he just kind of sits there for a moment, his feet kind of brought together so his arms rest kind of on his knees.
Who are you, little one?
Me?
Light-footed.
No, not quite.
You.
The one that you held a weapon to and created a hostage situation with?
Yes.
My name is Astari.
Who are you that covers feather?
I'm Zora.
You.
And he points one of his feathered fingers towards Satiel.
That
Yes.
pet.
No, she's my friend.
And he kind of like, he sniffs the air and you see the beak open again. You know how an owl's beak has a hook over, and you
Yeah.
see it open and the tongue kind of like come to the very tip of it. And then he pulls back and he kind of
Is not Strigg.
No. She just takes the form of an owl. It's her preferred form.
Smells different.
Well, she's a celestial.
I take no offense. Who are you with horns?
Ezra.
And you who says nothing but smells of fire?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what rhymes with Strig. My name's Mel. You can call me Mel.
Fig.
Big.
And you who speaks so bold? Who are you again?
Me. Oh, I'm Tongaroa.
Tongoro. If I sleep, will you harm me?
No.
And he kind of sidles his body over and he leans against the wall. And for the first time, you've noticed that this isn't a squared hallway. So it's not flat walls that come up and then it's flat. It's actually a curved hall. And as you're looking, the tunnel is curved and he's just kind of sidles over. And even sitting where his head comes to is the better part of over halfway up the wall. And he just kind of leans against it for a second. And after a few moments, the kind of like snuffling rumbling he was making with his own voice turns into a quieter rumble. And you can see that his chest is falling very rhythmically.
I think that's our cue to leave.
I thought you offered to help him.
If he wants it, he'd openly asked for it, but he did not.
You can see that the tunnel continues past him for some ways.
I don't think pushing on is the right idea. Leaving him to rest.
Hannah looks excited, but she's like, but what if what I'm looking for is down that way?
We can wait until he's up and moved.
Fine, I guess
There is more back the way we came. We can just look over that.
that's true. That's very true. Well, I'll see you all topside, or I'll see you up the stairs. And she starts making her way up the stairs again. Party. Where are you going from here?
I will I'll actually approach Farnus and I will very gently lightest touch him and use lay on hands and give him 10 HP. I don't know.
Sure.
And
you expend the 10 HP, but you don't think that with the wounds being old,
yeah,
that while it's comforting and soothing, it's not gonna. There's a slight scent of like an ocean breeze in the air. It's pleasant, but he just kind of moves in his sleep.
And then I will reach into my herbalist kit. I will pull out little wooden cup, and I will place dried little rose hips in it. And then I'll pull out a note or like a piece of paper, and I'm like, I think for a minute, and I'm like, does somebody who can write in common please write something for me?
Yeah,
Of
sure.
course.
Or Mello, one of the two. Do you want an actor's script or a scholar's script, basically?
Oh, I don't. Doesn't matter. It's a very simple instructions.
Do you want the doctor's writing, or do you want the layman's writing?
Well, okay, Mello, you go ahead.
All right.
I'll give him the paper, and I'll just say, can you please write, make tea with this. It helps with pain.
Make tea to help with pain.
Yes. And while he's doing that, I will also give Mello a good old bro tap and give him a 10 HP.
Oh,
Yeah, because
that'll come in handy.
You were down a bit, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was that badly injured.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Those will be bros.
Question for the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Would any knowledge Satiel would have picked up from his home think, like, would an old wound be able to be regenerated?
Yes. You do know that there are healing magics out there, such as regeneration, which would help to mend the bones properly. The other thing too, though, is you know that if you were to like take a break that never healed properly and re-break it, that you could then heal it and it would set the right way.
Okay. He pauses, like, does this Evianus appear to be asleep already?
Oh yeah, he is definitely
He is
asleep.
not. Okay. Hey, Tonga.
Yes.
I can help him, but I'm gonna need the sword to do it.
Okay. And he'll take his bag. I'll take my bag off my back, and I will rummage through it all the way to the bottom and pull out the.
Okay.
I think it's cloth wrapped. I think you said is what you did.
Yeah, the handle that is wrapped in cloth to hide the opals. Otherwise, it just looks like a kind of fancy short sword. So he'll
Pardon
take
me.
that. He'll strap it on. Put his hand on the sword.
We should
Yeah?
wake him up for this. I mean, just so he's aware of what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Okay, just making sure.
Maybe wake him up without the sword in your hand.
No, he just has his hand rest. He doesn't have it drawn. He just has his hand resting on it, and he'll go over and just kind of like try to shake Burnus a little bit.
That is sorry, that was just the best. You want to try to do that without the weapon in your hand?
Yeah, no, he doesn't have it drawn.
Okay. You shift him awake, and as you do, you watch one eye like opens and does that thing where it rolls into view, and then the other one's like right behind it. So you get this kind of effect of both of them opening slowly,
Yeah.
and then the eyes rolling into focus on you.
Hi. No, sorry. I just want to make sure we're awake so I could ask, because I didn't want to do this without your permission. I know of a spell that can heal your injury, but I wanted to get your permission first before I cast it on you. Would that be okay?
You would burn magics on me after I held your friend?
Well, you did it because you were afraid, and once you realized that we were no threat, you let her go willingly. I don't hold that against you.
It is not that you are threat or not threat. There are many of you, and only one of me.
The threat of numbers.
It's a threat still.
You could join us. Then it would be all of us, and you'd be part of it.
He looks down the tunnel in the direction like behind all of you, down further where it's dark. And then he looks back at you and kind of like shakes his head side to side.
You are kind. My duty is not at an end yet. I will accept your offer, though. Although, I cannot repay.
I'm not asking for repayment.
Understand.
And he will rest a hand on the sword, but put another on the Avianus' chest and say, I wish to wield the powers of regeneration to mend this creature's wounds. And he will expend one wish charge and cast regenerate.
All right. There is a slight glow. The handle warms to a comfortable level. And then it seems to ebb through your hand, down your arm, into your chest, and across. And you understand how divine magic works. It's not what you wield. Even that divine spells that you know are just manipulations of arcane magic to hold that form.
Yeah.
And as you put your hand, though, you get the first true sense of what casting magic of the divine sort feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And the warmth passes into you and into him, and you watch as his feathers fluff a bit. He no longer looks bedraggled. He kind of turns, and you can kind of hear an audible pop, like how you stand up and your knee fires off or something.
Mm-hmm.
As you do, though, he flexes his fingers and he rolls his head. And he stands and he comes to his full height. And you watch as he does so when his chest is out, and he just kind of stands there for a moment. And as the magic kind of ebbs and subsides from him, he looks down at you and goes, "Thank you, friend."
Mm-hmm. Happy to help.
Even my throat is better.
And he sits back down again, leaning the blade across his lap.
Why are you here, underneath these battlements that have long lain at rest?
Well, I myself just like to learn new things. Hannah here, she has asked us to be her protectors. She's looking for something called the Ottoman Keystone? Or the Acumen Keystone? Do you know anything about it by chance?
I am familiar, yes.
Oh. Is there anything you can tell me if you want to?
He kind of stands up again, and a lot quicker this time than what he was earlier. You can see that he doesn't struggle now, and he kind of he doesn't really smile because he's a beak, but you can watch the musculature at the edge of his mouth kind of pull back, and you get that he's smiling at you.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of pats you on the shoulder, his big hand just kind of engulfing your shoulder as he does.
Yeah.
And he strides past you and stands and like kneels down and looks at Hannah. And he's like beak to nose with her almost.
Why do you want it?
She thinks for a minute and she says, "My liege has asked me for it, and I mean to return it to him." He stands and turns and looks at you, Satael, and he says,
"And if I were to give it to you, do you know what it does? What power it wields?"
I don't, beyond what she's told me. I would prefer that things with immense power either be kept away from the hands of others that would abuse it, or only be entrusted to those who know the dangers of wielding unimaginable power and will use it very sparingly.
Rest. Rest here. Rest with me. And I will take you to it.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Do not thank me yet, friend Satael. Rest now.
Okay.
and he sits down once again. And he takes a pack out, and you can see that it's got, you know, a few major things, but one of the things, like large rodents, and tearing off, devouring.
Yeah, Satio goes and sits by the wall. He pulls out a notebook and he just scribble as he's just writing away. Ha, Steve. Ha.
Do I even want to know?
He said fresh ruse. Rodents of unusual size.
Mm-hmm.
Streak trail rations.
I mean,
is that a muskrat?
Striga street rations. Huh.
So that's what rations look like to the Avianis people. They just carry rats around.
No. No, only Strig. Not all. Well, some of my Raptrin brothers, but
Raptrin?
mostly us. Yes.
And who are they?
Well, much like you have races, Zastari is elven. You are human. Zora
He just
is human.
smiles.
I do not see dwarves among you. I'm not sure what Ezra is.
Oh,
Nor
he's an Oni.
am I familiar with Tangaroa.
Fish.
Mm,
The official name of his
Triton.
people is a Triton.
Triton.
hmm. There are many of your people. There are many of mine.
Okay.
We have those that... The Black Feathers. The Corvum. The proud and beautiful Luma. The strong and humble Gallus. The Raptor. And my own, the Strig.
Let's see, he said Corvum,
Corvum. Luma.
Luma,
Gallus. Luma, Luma. Gallus.
Gallus. Okay.
Raptor.
Corvum, Luma, Gallus, Raptrin,
Raptor.
Strig.
Strig.
Raptor. Okay.
Raptor.
As in Velosa.
Oh.
You're not wrong, but yeah.
As you're sitting here giving me flashbacks to my druid going, "Go, my children."
Let's see. Is that all of them? Alice?
That was 5.
Corvum.
Corvum, Luma, Gallus, Raptor, Strig.
For those of you who don't know, those are the races in Humblewood.
Yeah, kind of.
Folk.
I got, yeah. I was getting that vibe.
And if you've never played Humblewood, you're missing out.
I have actually never played Humblewood.
It's 5e with birds.
Ooh. I have to look at that then.
Herbs and deers.
And raccoon and
Rats.
Mouse.
mice.
Sorry. Mice. Sorry, I got excited.
Yes, you did. So it is set in the Humblewood, and it uses Humble Folk and the Bird Folk, and you can play as either races. So it's like there was 5 of each. So let's see: deer, raccoon, hedge, fox, raccoon. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, it's a lot of fun, and you can find that supplement. It's from Deck of Mini, the Deck of Mini.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go over to their site, Deck of Mini, you can find it and play.
Hey.
And I've run it before, and it's a lot of fun.
The artwork in it is adorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Because you and Q
And Molly.
and
Molly.
You
I
guys
played
all got to
Dandelion.
play. That's right, you did.
Hey.
So go check it out. It's a lot of fun. All right. I will leave it all up to your discretion if you'd like to take a short rest or a long rest for this situation.
I'm
okay. Surprisingly.
Satil will actually ask to take a short rest.
Okay.
It'll
I think we only need a short rest.
Okay. So unless anybody has anything else to say, then
no, that'll let him get 2 of his first level spells back.
all right. Do you have
Yeah.
Song of Rest that you want to use there?
Yes, let me make sure I know what that does, because it's been a while since I've actually done party things.
I said it also lets me regenerate my blade song too.
Excellent.
So
Yes, Decca, you are correct. The Gallus are rooster folk.
I was right the last time. I am great.
You're fantastic, honey. Never change. All right. So, taking your short rest, you see him stand and he looks at all of you. He asks if you are prepared. He takes there's a little makeshift spot that he's been kind of camped out in.
along with this blade during that time of which you watched as he was just using a whetstone to sharpen the blade. But he lifts this pack that looks like it's been a patchwork thing, like it's been busted and then restitched and like busted again and restitched once more. But he kind of shoulders it. It's a single strap thing that fits over his shoulder. And you see that he does not wear any armor. He's got on like clothing, for the lack of a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
But there's no armor. And he's got this cloak that kind of like folds around him, almost engulfing him in it. And the hood, which is thrown back. He looks back and he says, "Trust in nothing. The shadows are not your friend."
I think we ran into one of those outside.
This place is... well, you'll see. And he turns and he starts walking and he stops again abruptly and looks back. He goes, "Is the darkness friend to any of you? Any of you must have light."
I can see okay.
I think we all can see in the dark.
Satiel, if that was true, then you wouldn't have needed a torch and turned my entire situation into a hostage negotiation.
Actually, Satiel can see. Sora and I believe Tongaroa?
I can see. I'm fine.
Oh, yes.
I'm the only one that can't.
Actually, I don't think Mello can see in the dark either. You don't have dark vision, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know why I was thinking you didn't.
It's okay,
So
we can use the
it's
holding hand system. It's fine.
Just Tangaroa.
I glow so you can always find me, but that doesn't mean I know where you're going.
Just, cast light on his eyeballs.
Oh.
Ow!
That's some second edition. That's some second edition AD&D stuff right there. Where are you casting that light spell? Right in the middle of the dragon's eyeballs, right here.
I mean, there is a rule for that in 5e, where if you do it like that, they have to make a save or go blind. So
That's how you do it in 5e
Who
or
would
in
know
second
that?
edition to take care of it. Of course, he knows that. Are we not surprised by this? All right. I mean, not anymore.
in the least.
Not anymore, anyways.
oh shush.
All right. So he starts leading the way. So with Burnus in front, who's going next in line?
I'll go behind him.
Okay.
I'll
then-
follow last. Sorry.
You're going last? Okay.
Yep.
So with Burnus in the front, Ezra in the back,
Satiel will kind of stick to the middle.
Tanga, okay. So following Tangaroa is
Mellow.
Mello, okay. And then we have Satael, or then Zora, then Zastari, or how do you guys want to do that?
Is
not sure.
is it wide enough to be walking next to each other?
I mean, it's wide enough that, yeah, you could kind of walk next to each other.
She'll probably walk next to Satiel.
It's probably like, I would say at the widest point, which would be the ground itself, it's 15 feet. It goes up and then it starts to curve in because the ceiling is there. He has to duck a little bit to get through the tunnel. So Ezra, your horns every once in a while are going to bonk against the ceiling. So you kind of have to
That's
duck your
fine.
head a little bit.
He'll just whole body crouch a little bit. It's
You just kind of walking with your head
his
tilted
back.
to the side.
Yeah. He'll either have a sore neck or a sore back, and you know what? At this point, I think he's probably used to it at some point.
Your
He's
neck,
just
your
caught.
back.
He's just walking with his head down like this all the time. All right.
Zora will have detect magic up at all times.
All right. As you start to move through, you start to see where the wall is flat, but then it looks like little alcoves are carved into it. So it's flat, and then all of a sudden there's a depression in the wall, and you can see doors with bars slatted, almost like prison doors. But you can see that these are made out of wood. As a matter of fact, they even still have like that that treatment to them, that chorizo, that smell, that tar and pitch smell to them. It's faint, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are rough hewn from what your hands can feel and see. And as you start to walk, you pass a set of doors on either side, and then about 10 more feet and another set of doors on either side, and 10 more feet and about another. And who has the lowest? I think the lowest passive is a 12, if I'm not mistaken, or an 11.
Hooray.
I have an 11.
Okay,
Oh,
it's the 11.
great.
Is the lowest. The highest is a 17, though, right? 15 and above. You keep every once in a while when you pass by the door, you swear you see something moving in some of the cells. It's not like bright. It's like watching shadows move in shadows, and it's dark.
Do I feel anything sort of spiritual happening? Just the same sort of sense of spirits as before?
Not technically, you wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, unless you have some sort of tie to the spirit realm or anything. You're deeply spiritual, so
Deeply spiritual. It's just
they're doing crystals later on.
that's the beads in his hair, actually.
That's what it is.
No,
Healing
it's
crystals
just. Where is it?
Quartz and copper bands. You can heal everything.
Pale Oni are closer to the spiritual world than the rest of their kin and continue to try and keep balance in between the spirit world and the material plane.
All of a sudden, the song "We Are Spirits in the Material World" just popped into my head.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. There's like he might feel a little pull, but whether or not it's actually like.
Yes, then in that case, you would sense these as something preternatural, something that is not here, but here at the same time.
Okay. As long as it don't sense it's danger, he's not even gonna mention it.
I mean, it's you sense what they are, but you don't necessarily get a sense of danger.
If they're gonna attack. Okay.
I mean, but then again, I don't think that's where your proclivity is anyways.
Yeah,
I don't think you would be able to detect it. That's an angry spirit. It's going to attack. I'm going to hold it down and put my anyway.
No.
TOS.
It's the spirit equivalent of the shadow of a tree coming in through your window, but actually shining onto your carpet, and you're getting scared by what's moving on the carpet.
It just looks like a monster.
I mean, it looks like
just a hand.
Movement. It just looks like movement in the shadow.
Okay.
God, there's a movie that does it really well, but it was like something was moving against the black, and it looked like a shape in this black liquid or smoke or whatever would just shift and move. So it's not like it's a tangible thing. It literally looks like the shadows itself are swirling and moving. As if you were watching
I feel like this is the horror movie Lights Out all of a sudden.
No, but not really, but maybe. It's like having a liquid black surface that has like a little pearlescence in it.
Oh.
And then you can see something moving in the pearlescence. So you're watching the shadows move. They don't seem to drift closer to you or away from you. They just seem to, in your periphery, in those rooms, you see.
Oh, it's the darkness equivalent of eye floaties.
Sure. I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but it's actually accurate. Yes. So thank you for being apropos, Steve. I appreciate it.
Here to help.
Does any of it ding the detect magic?
I mean, they're not magical in that sense, so no, you're not picking up anything from them.
Okay,
as you continue to move, you come to what appears to be, you feel like a cool wind or something, and you hear the sound of water like being forced through a small opening, so it's roaring. You come to a part where Tanga, he takes your hand and literally like guides you carefully step by step, and as you're walking, your foot kind of slips, so you can feel the stone underneath, because you wear bare feet, don't you? Or do you wear boots or shoes?
I wear bare feet.
You wear bare feet. Yeah, that's what I meant. You know what I meant. You have bare feet. So as you step, you can feel the stone under your feet is wet. It's damp. And you feel like a spray of something coming up against your legs. And you realize that there is a natural fissure like in the ground. Those of you who can see in the dark can see that the stone of the hallway continues, but the section of the hall narrows down to about 6 or 7 feet wide, and you see or hear water being pushed through, and you can see that there's a stream that they kind of like left the natural carving in, and then they just kind of swap through. It's only about 10 feet wide, or the distance, the length of it is 10 feet, and then you're on the other side safely. So there's like this little natural waterfall or flow that goes through there. As you continue to move, the water sound leaves you behind. And again, you continue to see these little things on there. And he kind of starts to walk. And as he does, he's like turning his head left and right. And you can see he's like looking or listening for something. And he just kind of looks back and says, "Oubliette." And he keeps moving.
I'm sorry, what?
Oubliette. Do you know what an oubliette is?
Do I know what an oubliette is?
Yes, he is asking Satael, not Eric. Does Satael know what an oubliette is?
Do I need to make a roll for that?
Sure. Give me a history
Okay.
check.
Alrighty. 29.
Why do you even
18
ask
plus-
anymore?
18 plus 11.
Do you know what an oubliette? I don't know. Do I? Yeah, you're pretty sure you know what an oubliette is.
Do you know who invented the oubliette?
Yes, we wrote a 5th grade report on oubliettes.
He invented it. That's the role we're going with.
All right. So you know that it is a cell that has like one accessible point, and that is through the ceiling. So that you have dropped into it, and if you're extracted out, and it can take many forms, but generally it's either a circular or squared room, and there's no windows, there's nothing in it. It's just a solitary confinement.
He starts looking down to see where these would be.
Yep, he starts to walk, and you can see him looking left and right, and he finally comes to a stop. I need everyone to give me perception checks, please.
That's a nat 20.
10.
27 if I include check.
27.
Yeah, that's a nat 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20.
I also got a nat 20.
If I just say mellow, you get the picture.
Listen, you and I are in the same
Well,
page.
well,
here.
I mean, Satiel's brain is apparently locked on oubliettes because I got a natural 1 plus 5, so 6.
Oh, we got the same.
Hey!
I got a 4 plus 2.
How did Tangaroa do?
10.
Better than these two idiots.
Tangaroa's like listening to them just talk at each other. It's like, you even know what you're talking about?
So like you're
Holy
muttering
cow.
over and over to yourself.
Oh, that's a fun word.
Yeah. Like Mello's locked on the word ooh. The way it sounds is like it's oubliette.
No,
Oubliette.
Steve told
And
me
then-
that Mello was whisper singing into his ear the entire time they were walking, so they're like zoned in on. They're like honed in on
Okay.
each other.
They're working on the harmonies for a song that only they
Yeah.
know.
Oh, no.
It's in primordial.
Satiel, you start to mutter to yourself about the oubliette invented in by this and mostly used by this, and this is the purpose of it, and this is who, and most famous oubliettes are this, and so you're just carrying on about the oubliette itself. The others who did not roll poorly, because we had a unnatural 20, a 27, and a 22.
I
No,
had
what
a
was your
natural 20.
No,
I had
what
a
was your
nat
total?
20.
Oh, 24.
Oh.
27.
A 27, and a total of a 20.
2 nat 20s and a...
You hear
Oh, man.
It'll bite me in the ass later.
Oh, it's going to bite you right now. As all of you stand, you watch as Bernus stops and holds his large arms out to either side. And about that time, you hear a woman's baleful moan. She sounds like she is just sorrowful. Her very heart hurts. She sounds like she is mourning the loss of something very dear to her. And I need the three of you who hear this to give me sanity checks.
No!
You know, this brings back
Joke's
memories
on
of,
you.
just far long ago, not away, 18.
Okay, so failing actually helped.
Trying to figure out where I put my
Yeah.
sanity. 1 second. Where did I store my sanity again? Hold on.
In jars in the kitchen next to the flour, the sugar, and oats.
Yeah,
Essentially,
No,
yeah.
sugar.
Oh,
Sugar.
Is that
okay.
a 9?
Good to know. That is definitely a failure of 5 or more.
Oh,
However, it is not 10 or more, so you only lose 1 point. However, the sound breaks your heart. And as you stand there and listen to it, you can't help but be riveted by the sound, and you are in full-blown tears. Something that you do not do, and it is just being elicited from you. How did you do, Zora? You
Oh,
lose.
no.
Hey, a 1 plus 3 is a 4.
You watch. How did you did an 18 though, right? Okay,
Yeah.
you're fine. You recognize it and recognize the song behind it. The others watch all of a sudden as Zora goes and just falls to the ground and is curled up in a ball and is in tears.
Hey, buddy, it's gonna be okay.
You lose
Cat-
2. You lose 2 sanity points.
Oh.
And would you like to roll the d4 as well?
You know what? I leave it up to fate. I'm gonna go subtract my sanity now.
Okay. You are also catatonic for 2 minutes, or you are inconsolable, cannot take any actions for the next 2 minutes.
Feels about right.
I think I was closest to Zora.
Mhm.
Ezra's like, we're already crouched down beside her to try and console her, but seeing as it's not working, he's just one large hand on her back, kind of just like rubbing her back a little.
Uh-huh. Actually, I take that back. You still lose the points, but instead of being catatonic, let me do something. You're going to suffer a temporary madness.
Please don't smack me. If that comes out of it.
Zistari is, as soon as she just starts realizing she's crying, she just reaches out to grab a hold of the front of Satil's shirt, like, what the fuck?
Why is it doing this? Why is it doing this?
It's basically, if you've seen My Hero Academia, it's basically Midoriya muttering right now.
Oh,
Just not
God.
oubliettes.
This is the definition. This isn't used in a sentence. This is how you spell it. This is what I'm picturing.
Oubliettes in 4 different languages.
Ezra, we're out loud towards the whole party. Anybody else here crying?
What?
No?
From the 2 people crying.
Zistari is
I
going
mean,
to turn
we're
around and look at
obviously-
Ezra like,
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, you're not good?
No?
It sucks to suck. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my damn.
What's going on? Why is everybody crying? What
Zora's
happened?
just probably kind of like
Well,
tried to push herself into a corner. If she has any kind of motor skill.
Ezra is big. Just would hugging her help?
I don't know what's the madness.
That's what I'm trying to find. Hang on just 1 second here.
Ezra is big. Ezra's like, he could be a corner, basically. Big boy.
You say a coroner or a corner?
Both?
That's
like the
fair.
I'd like somebody to take me out, like on a date or like assassinated.
I don't know. Surprise me.
Surprise me.
Are you
Okay.
talking short-term madness?
I found it.
Okay.
Give me a D100 roll, please.
That'll be an 83.
Okay. So pretty much the same thing. You are stunned for the next 3 minutes. You are unable to take any actions. You are stunned, as in the stunned condition for the next 3 whole minutes. So effectively the same thing. You watch as she just kind of like falls away.
Sounds about right.
That sounds about like her. Burnus kneels down and starts rummaging through his pack. He then takes out a strip of what appears to be some sort of cloth, and it's been treated with something. He looks at, you're crying in tears, aren't you? He walks up to you, and it's pungent. It smells like stale fat or lard, and he wraps it around your head. Doesn't cover your eyes. It's like across your forehead and over your ears. And the sound is kind of muffled silently or slightly by it. He looks down at poor Zora and goes,
She's beyond help.
that one's going to have to rest it out. Let's give her a minute and see how she does.
I'm okay. I'm fine.
No.
Like, snot like dripping down her nose, just wiping it up. Like, I'm fine.
What happened?
What the fuck?
What's the crying? What was that?
He just takes a deep breath and says, you'll see soon.
Do we really have to?
You stand there for the 3 minutes as he just kind of crouches down, pairs. But after a minute or two, you kind of like your heart is like no longer pounding in your chest.
Still just kind of like tucks her like cloak around her. Like, I suddenly don't like archaeology.
Not for me. Thank you. I'll have none. All right. He then pats you on the shoulder and says, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you start to move, you can see that he is once again, now his turning back and forth and looking down the hallway is becoming more, or has been becoming quicker. And then finally he kind of stops for a second and then scurries forward ahead of you all. And you hear the sound of, everybody knows the sound from the movies, but the sound of bone like falling and clacking against one another. You can see, those of you who can see in the dark, sees that he has gone over to what is like a giant bird skeleton. It would be a little smaller than what he is, but still, nonetheless, you can see the beak is the same style as his own.
Mm-hmm.
He picks up something and he mutters something in a language that none of you understand. And then he kind of like makes a gesture or a sign and stands, and he looks at the group of you. And Tangaroa, he tosses what appears to be a spear in your direction.
No dark vision. Slam.
That's right. Spow! Sorry, he walks over and puts something in your hand, and you can feel it's the shaft of a spear.
Nice.
But it is not a wooden shaft. It seems to be made of like it's cold like metal. But you can see that there's leather in it. He then moves on ahead, and you all follow. He's like, Tanga, you're being kind of like push guided by everybody. You come to a large circular intersection in this thing. and you can see that set into the ground appears a metal ring. The metal ring itself is attached to what appears to be like the top of a metal dish that is buried in the concrete or in the ground. He looks at the lot of you and he says, "Are there any preparations you would like to make?"
What waits? What lies beyond these doors? What's waiting for us?
At worst, a banshee.
Well, that explains the crying.
Yeah, that would.
Well,
But what's the at best?
A dead one?
A half-dead banshee.
Fair. Okay.
Looking around the circle, you see several more of those giant bird skeletal, remains. There's about 5 in all.
can I gather my team, go team, and use my trait, inspiring hero or inspiring leader?
Yeah, how long does that last again? Until like the next combat?
It lasts until the hit points go away.
Okay.
It doesn't say how long it lasts for.
I'll say that for this, you probably knowing you were going to get into the scuff of it all during either your short rest or while you were waiting for Zora to come out of her stupor. You could have done your speech.
Okay.
So everybody gets
8 temporary hit points.
Ew.
Everybody gets 8 temp HP.
Okay.
Mhm.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Since he mentions a banshee specifically, any knowledge I might know on banshees that might help in a fight as Satil? Considering he's spent his entire life living in a library, basically. This is the reason why I asked.
Sure. I'll still say history check.
History? Okay. $23.
Okay. You know that their wail is deadly and that they have a horrible visage and you have to look on them, but if you are not careful, they will frighten you to the core.
Whale is deadly. Terrifying visage. Can frighten to the core. Okay.
Yep. That's a banshee.
That's a
All right.
banshee.
As you carefully pick your way down, you watch as he gathers up some more weapons. As long as they've been down here, these are all in incredibly good condition.
Mm-hmm.
You see he gave a spear to Tangaroa. There is a very large, it's very reminiscent of the blade you saw, the Corvum, the big like sweeping blade. You see one of those. You see a couple of they're axes for the use of this. They're like a battle axe, but you see 2 of them. They have an axe head on either side. These come down into long points, nearly covering the knuckles where they're at. So like the blade head comes out flat and then curves down and almost fully touches under the handle. There's 2 of those that he takes up.
Mm-hmm.
And as he takes one of these, every time he does, you see him make a gesture over the skeleton and he says something in what you've come to learn is just bird speech or humble speech, or not humble speech, but yeah, bird folk speech. It's just something he can say, avianus, if you will. And he gathers up, these different instruments. One of the ones that he does pick up, he looks at He looks at Zora, and he holds it out, and it is a crossbow.
I can give it a shot.
You are not familiar with this?
I mean, I can use it. I'm just generally a little bit better with magic. But if I can try it if it's better to use this against it than magic.
This, and you can see that this is it's a heavy crossbow, like what we would call a heavy crossbow. You can see that it has a crank on the top of it. And instead of laying the bolt onto the body, you sort of put the bolt into this this channel that's at the end of it and slides forward as you turn the crank. He says, "Are any of you good with this?" All right.
Technically.
We're just all kind of like,
All right. He says, "No worries." And he puts it right back where he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
He walks over to the end of the oubliette, puts his hands on the ring.
I will say, before this starts, Satiel will draw the luck blade, and he will activate his blade song. And also will, at 2nd level, cast Bless.
Okay.
On Mellow, Zora, Zestari, and Ezra.
Awesome. Are we prepared?
As much as can be.
You watch as he grabs the ring on either side, and he turns it, and there's a sound. And then he grabs the ring and just pulls the whole lid off. The air inside is musty and stale, and you don't hear anything. You don't see anything. The drop to the floor below is probably 20 feet. And you watch as he unravels a rope that has knots in it. And he lowers it in there and holds on and then secures it to the ring. So that it's not, because it doesn't lift off and just stay out. It's attached to the dome or attached to the ceiling. So he ties it off so that it's secured. And then he starts climbing down using the knots to help guide almost like steps or ladder rungs. And then he lands on the ground. And you watch as he takes his blade and he mutters something that sounds like squawks or chirps. And the blade kind of hums on one side and then hums on the other side. And you watch as he works it and it kind of zzz, zzz, and it looks like little trails of light. Come.
Okay. Satiel will follow.
All right.
The soft hum of the sword echoing behind him.
And as you all start to make your way down, roll for initiative.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure none of you losers are staying up there.
I don't know, man.
You're definitely not.
I'm just gonna go back and find Hannah now. You guys have fun.
Hannah's like, that's okay, I'm up here.
We all just what?
I believe in you. You've got this.
And before the
Yeah,
Banshee
your
just
squad.
decides to go. And before the Banshee just decides to go, oh, hey, lone person hanging out up here. Snack time!
You're all doing great, sweeties.
Excuse me, ma'am, that's my emotional support halfling.
I thought you
Please
had an
don't
emotional support rooster. How much more emotional support do you need?
I can take
Oh, no. If this thing wails, what happens to the rooster?
no.
I think we all know.
This is what happens
Popcorn
when you
chicken.
bring a rooster into a non-rooster-friendly cave, okay?
I would have brought the rooster into a combat situation.
If I remember
Like what?
correctly, he is a friendly chicken, not a combat-ready chicken. Unless he has a knife. Does he
just
have a
love-
knife?
He's not a
yet.
goose. He's not a goose.
No, you know
I'm
what
just going to
happens?
say-
Zora and Zastari finally get to cook the rooster.
Hey.
I'm going to
Makes it
say
all
this. I'm going to wait for the artwork of Archibald, but in like the chocobo armor.
Yes!
Hey.
The chocobo armor, but with also the spurs, like the knife spurs.
Attach daggers
Just has
to
a
the
lance
spurs.
under his wing.
He just gets like a really nice back plate and it's got all sharp things at it, so he just like jumps and like
Those
turns.
collars, they get herding dogs.
I just imagine him jumping and like laying the elbow down.
You know, he's a
right.
really good chicken. He's learning. I'll teach him
20.
self-defense. It's fine.
Dragoon
Right.
chicken.
20 or higher.
21.
Zora coming in with a 21.
Why I couldn't get that last time?
Because it would have been
Alright.
significantly less funny.
Anybody
yeah.
else? All right, 15 or higher.
18.
Also 18.
Mellow, that's very
All right.
unconvincing.
15.
16.
Okay. Which one of you two are gonna go first?
I'm okay with Mello going.
Okay.
Since he rarely rolls high initiatives, I want him to go first.
Fuck it
Oh,
up.
thank you.
This is his moment.
It's his moment. Yeah, let's do it.
Gonna nat 20, gonna one-shot it. Whatever.
Hey.
So 18 Mellow, 18 Satiel. All right, and then 16 for Ezra,
Correct?
16 for Zastari.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving
Oh no,
us
Tonga.
Tonga. How'd you do?
13.
That's not
That's
bad.
not too bad.
Not terrible.
I was waiting
But
for
I
a
was
3.
I was expecting
Yeah.
at least Mellow to be behind. No offense, I love you, but like usually you roll like an 8
Yeah,
in your number.
it really is.
The consistency, it's not here tonight.
I'll take-
Switching it up.
Also,
I mean,
for
to be
those.
fair, I made sure everything was rolled as a 1 before we started, so
Hey, yeah, there we go.
I also only have a +1 to initiative, so
Well, you are not going last.
Oh.
Since I had somebody ask me about it in
Mhm.
DM, for those of you that got hit with Bless, plus 40 your attack rolls and saving throws.
No,
Or no, a D4.
a D4.
Yes. Brain just went clunk.
That's
could be
okay.
a +4.
if we're lucky.
It's a good thing I consistently use D4s.
All right. Before we get into combat, now's the time to go retweet that we're about to get into a big banshee fight. Go out there and spread the word that we are about to take on Le Banshee. So, with that being said, first up is Sora.
Does she see La Banshee?
You do not see Le Banshee.
Okay.
You do not see the Banshee.
She'll
Mhm.
hold her action. If she sees La Banshee, she will throw an Eldritch Blast at her.
Okay.
And I will be right back.
Sure thing.
Pork chop attack, I can tell.
That is unfortunate because the Banshee goes now.
I'm about to say, literally, I say pork chop attack. I see pork chop with his ears just going like, what you doing? On our camera.
I will wait to resolve until she returns
Okay.
because she said,
Oh,
when I see it, I attack. But now go retweet. Go spread the love. Throw out another tweet and say, hey, these guys are taking on bad things. Come join the fun as we watch people get rocked to their very core.
See a Loki over there too.
Welcome, everyone. Don't forget, please feel free to drop bits, gift us a sub if you can, or show some love somehow. We also have a Patreon. I can't speak today. We also have a Patreon page.
Yes.
Yes. Don't forget the link. And then we are also want to thank our newest patron, Aaron and the family there. They are actually clients of mine. I run a game for them. They are also Patreon supporters. So feel free to give us some love. Even $1 goes a long ways towards supporting us and keeping us going. upgrading equipment as need be, and purchasing licenses for purchasing music and artwork, as you can see in the middle of the page there, as all of our artwork scrolls through a little bit at a time there. All right. We're going to go ahead and then retro if need be. So you watch as out of the darkness, this thing looms forward. It's almost pale to the point where it blends in with the darkness, and as it moves across the room terribly, you get the sense that this room is not very large. It is a 20-foot circle, and that's bad. She gets to about out of the shadow against one edge of the wall. She moves forward, and she looks at all of you. And she opens her mouth, elongating down this long, just ghastly looking thing. And she lets out a baleful wail.
Oh.
And I need everyone to give me Constitution saving throws.
Ooh.
Weehaw.
16.
All right, hang on, everybody roll, and I will get those numbers from you in a moment.
Okay.
Everybody. I saw some people putting heads in hands, so let's see how that goes for them. All right.
Those of you affected by Blast, don't forget to use it.
You have a D4.
Oh,
That's true.
sure, why not?
That's not
You
gonna
would-
help.
Well, that it helps.
V,
I
stop
forgot to-
tossing caltrops.
Sarah. Sorry, she doesn't have her headset on yet, so I just said her name for nothing. Zora, out of the darkness, you watch as this white, pale figure moves forward. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Don't fail me now, Ducky. 18 plus something to hit.
That definitely hits.
All right. Just because I haven't used it since. Do I have to roll for each Eldritch Blast Strike? Yes, I do. Duh.
Yes, you do.
16 plus 7.
That also hits.
All right.
How much
Trying to do math, I'm sorry.
Okay.
19.
19 damage total. All right.
And it's force damage if that matters.
You said 19? Okay.
Yes, sir. 19 force.
Math am hard.
Math is hard.
There we go. Got it. I figured it out. Okay. I also need to get a Constitution saving throw from you as she moves into this 20-foot room is a very small area. But as she kind of gets towards the middle of you all and this away from the wall, she opens her mouth and lets out a wail. So, Constitution
18.
saving throw. 18. Okay, so Zastari. 3. All right. Zora, you are going to take 10 points of psychic damage. Unless you have resistance. 10 points of psychic damage.
I do not.
Okay. Satiel,
20.
you take 10 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
Mello,
24.
you take 10 points of psychic damage. Tangaroa.
12.
Okay. Ezra,
19.
you take 10 points of psychic damage.
Give me.
Zastari and Tangaroa let out a gasp and they fall to the ground. You are both at 0 HP right now.
And I know I just missed it because I just ran a one-shot with Banshees in it.
I also got a 20 to my Constitution save to maintain Bless.
Okay, you're fine. Because it's 10 or half the damage, whichever is higher, so 10, that's all you had to make. Bernus also takes 10 points of damage. But he looks completely nonplussed by that. And next up is Mello. What are you doing, buddy? 2 of your party members just to the ground. Unless any of you are secretly playing as undead and you haven't told me about it, which bad.
How close am I to her at this point?
This room is a 20-foot room. She has just moved away from the wall, so she's probably about from the center of the room, she'd only be like 5 feet. So she's like pretty much you can put your arms around your shoulders.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a deep breath.
But I need you to give me a DC 13, or I need to give you a wisdom saving throw. I just let the cat out of the bag, but I need a wisdom saving throw from you, please.
All right. 17 on the die. I believe I have a +3.
You're good. So she is, the visage is just terrifying. And for a moment, your heart seizes in your chest, but you push past it, especially since you see 2 of your fallen allies. You brandish your weapon. What are you doing?
I am actually going to first, bam, and bestow a curse of inactivity.
Bestowing a curse of inactivity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3rd level spell. While cursed, the target must make a wisdom saving throw at the start of each of its turns. If it fails, it wastes its action that turn, doing nothing. This lasts for up to 1 minute.
What's the DC?
Let's see, 15.
She makes that one with a total of a 17.
Dang.
Quick question.
Fire away.
Could I have used Hellish Rebuke as a reaction from that damage?
From the whale, no, because it wasn't like a directed attack.
Okay.
Like, so, yeah.
Just wanted
All
to
right.
check.
No problem. All right, so you slapped curse.
And after realizing how little that did, I am going to panic sing a inspiration to Satiel.
Oh god,
Okay.
kill this thing!
Kill it dead, kill it dead, kill it dead, kill it dead.
If it wails, we can kill it.
All right, so if it wails, we can.
Make it cry for real.
I'll give you something to cry about.
All right, next up is Satiel.
Okay. Bonus action. Healing word on Zora.
I don't need it. I'm up.
So
That's
sorry,
right.
we're down the road.
Sorry.
Okay.
She's up.
You're like, no, not you. That one.
That one.
The
Yeah.
other Z.
The other Z. Yeah. Okay, so Zastari is awake.
With what?
How much HP?
That's right. I have to roll this.
You do.
I have too many spells. 5 HP.
Better than nothing.
Yep.
And then, as his action, he will use the Booming Blade cantrip
Okay.
against the Banshee.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Dirty 20.
That definitely hits her.
So 8 piercing damage from the luck blade,
Okay.
which is magical,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 thunder damage from the cantrip.
Okay. All right. Is that your turn?
That is my turn. Yes.
While the blade seems to have pierced the nearly incorporeal form, it's amazing that the thunder damage, she seems to have shrugged a good portion of that off. All right.
Okay.
Next up is Ezra. You can see you still have one ally.
Do I need to make that wisdom save for looking at her?
Oh, yes, you do. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I just thought about that.
You're okay, because I did not make Zora. Zora would need to make it as well. Wisdom saving throw, please.
Should I just make one now because he's staring right at her?
Yep, go ahead and make it.
Okay.
It's a 23.
Okay, you're fine.
17.
16.
Yeah, you guys are all okay. It's terrifying, but you can steel your nerve knowing that you have to get the job done. You have to defeat this thing.
Who's scarier, me or this lady?
Her.
Nah, listen.
We know you too well. She's terrifying.
Uh,
You can be brought down with promises of cookies. So
I feel attacked by that remark.
you should.
But is he wrong?
No, Ezra will probably stop for a second. Okay, can I hit it?
I've got snickerdoodles.
Ezra just like, 1 second. We're gonna try and punch a banshee. I was about to say bunch a banshee.
As
All
one
right.
does.
We're trying a bunch of panty. What?
Well, I'm just
Sounds like it should be
imagining.
dirty.
I'm just imagining Ezra like a plate of cookies in one hand, like, stop trying to steal my sweets.
Actually, he would just hold it up and then just hold the hand back. Fine. Good luck getting to it. What is that? What do I hit?
What are you rolling?
I'm rolling to punch.
Punch.
19.
19 hits.
Nice. My damage went up.
Oh, happy day.
I
All right.
wasn't paying attention to that. Whoops. 9.
Awesome.
We're gonna
Yeah.
punch again.
Okay,
So say we gotta do it again.
16.
that hits.
Ooh. Ooh, 10.
Nice.
And I want to spend a keep. And I want to do some psychic damage.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna punch one more time. Let's click off the key point. I want to invoke, specifically if I can find the right paperwork. Because for some reason that never shows up in the page. Okay, here we go. Let's try hitting first. 17. That's another 10 psychic damage. And he would like to invoke Wrath. The target suffers disadvantage on all attack rolls against other targets other than me until the end of my next turn.
Okay, so attacking other creatures imposes disadvantage.
Yes.
All right, remind me of that.
Yep. He moved up to do his first 2 punches and then took a little slight step back to invoke this psychic because I really need to touch her for it.
Okay. Just imagine he's all up in her face.
Yep.
Zastari, you are up. What are you doing?
I'm gonna stand. Shrug everything back into place. Yeah, basically. And then I'm gonna draw my rapier, and I know that I have to give you a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
Add a D4 to that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
because
D4 2 damage, right?
No, just
Okay.
the attack roll.
Okay, I thought, sorry, I was like, wait, I forgot about those.
I highly doubt an 8's going to be enough.
An 8 will not be enough.
Okay, in that case, we won't be drawing the rapier, and it will be the short bow. Because I don't have to move to attack with that one.
But you already made your attack, right?
No. I got up, half my movement, and I looked at her.
Oh, an 8. That is correct. You are now frightened. I'm sorry about that. Yes, you are frightened.
Which means I can't willingly move towards it.
You cannot willingly move towards her, and you have your attack will have disadvantage.
Okay. That is a 6 plus 8 for 14.
Yeah, that hits.
Plus 1 for 15.
Still hits.
Okay.
Just a little harder.
Ooh. Wait, is it melee only?
Your sneak
Attack registers, because...
Your sneak attack counts.
Yeah.
Would she get it with disadvantage?
It's not because of the disadvantage. It's
Okay.
because of proximity to an opponent.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you can do that with ranged weapons. So.
Right.
So that's 17 plus 5 for a grand total of 22.
22 damage. Yikes.
Now, that's not a magical weapon, but...
Thank you for telling me. All right. Tonga. I need a death saving throw, please.
3.
1 failure. And now the big man moves in. Zastari, by the way, you can make that save when she took her headset off.
There she goes.
Remind me that she can make that save again at the end of her turn.
Let's say, oh, look, there she go.
Oh, look, there she go. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are fighting a banshee. This should be fun. You watch as the owl whips the blade around, and he swings once and actually connects with that one, and then spins the other side of the blade around and connects with that one as well. The blade cutting in deep into the gauzy form of the creature.
Oh no, it's made of medical wrapping.
Oh no!
Are you my mummy?
I'm glad somebody picked up on that. Steve, high five me. Come on.
All right. The blade arcs across, and you watch as it hits and slices through. And as he spins it around, he swings it once more, and it rips through again. Each time, take a chunk out of the creature. We are back up to the top of the round as he squares off, standing up in front of her, imposing her. And not frightened of her. Zora, your turn.
Healing word on Tangaroa as bonus action.
Tangaroa, you now receive how much?
I'm a rolling. That is a 4. 5 hit point.
5 HP. Is it your charisma modifier or your wisdom?
Wisdom, because it's magic initiated druid, so it uses wisdom.
Gotcha.
And I'll roll the. Is it a wisdom or a con save? Looking at her.
Wisdom.
18 plus whatever.
You're fine. Okay, so you are immune to that.
Woohoo! Eldritch Blast at her 2 times.
Awesome.
That is an 18 and 14.
That hits as well.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, very low AC.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That is 18 total hits force.
18 total HP.
Yeah, 18 force damage.
Okay. Okay. You watch as each blast seems to rock her backwards. She's still standing there, kind of hovering just above the ground, but you can see that her form is wavering.
Go away, please.
And it is
Sorry.
her turn. Oh, and we're gonna let the dice make a decision.
Disadvantage on anything that's not against me.
No, it's making a decision. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Well, it just so happens that it is you. Yay! and she moves over to attack you.
Thank you for mentioning that. As the magic that suffused her form collapses in on itself, and she takes 15 thunder damage.
Yeah, she moves to... No, well, you stepped back, didn't you?
Yeah.
How far did you step back?
Not very far.
Like 5 feet?
Yeah, if she wants to take an advantage, yeah. She would do that.
That would definitely hit you. Actually, let me double check.
What is
The
it?
total to hit you would have been a 19.
Hits.
Okay. You are going to take this much psychic damage.
Oh, good. This much. So does that mean I get to pick? So 1's okay?
9. No, you take 11. Goober.
Cheeky little shit.
11 points of psychic damage.
That's okay.
All right. Then as she moves forward to try to attack you again, it collapses in. Again, it thunders. Filling. Is it a loud noise?
It's a thunderous crack, but it's not like great big old like thunderstorm levels of.
It's not thunderwave levels of boom?
No. It's not
You're
like
still in a 20-foot room.
yeah.
There's a bit of everybody going. There's a bit of everybody going.
Yeah. It doesn't say it can be heard up to like 300 feet away.
Okay.
It just says booming energy.
As she steps forward, the thunder racks her body, and you watch as the form, like watching tissue paper tear, is rent asunder. And it just dissipates, small pieces of it drifting down. And there is a heavy clunk of something that hits the ground as well.
Well, I guess I'm gonna check what it is. It's right in front of me, isn't it?
It is. It's right in front of you.
What's it got in its spirit form? What is that?
A small stone.
Ooh, I like stones.
Satiel, from where you're standing in the description that was given to you, it matches what Hannah had described perfectly.
Ooh.
Pick it up.
Yeah. He'll walk over to Ezra's like, "Hey, are you okay? I saw that thing hit you."
Detect magic would still be up on Zora.
Well, damage is damage, but I'm still standing perfectly fine.
Okay. As you scoop it up,
He'll tap Ezra with a healing word.
Oh, thank you.
3 HP.
Ooh.
Zora, it coalesces and radiates magic. Almost as bright as a small star. It burns with different types of magic swirling about it. You can't quite pinpoint. You know how magic you can identify with detect magic. What school of magic it is? This swirls, and it seems to be a chaos. It seems to be an unbridled thing. You cannot pin down where the magic has come from or what school it is.
That's a thing.
You have to turn your eyes away from it because it is so bright. As you scoop it up, I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw. You with the face and the hair with the finger pointing. You.
Does Bless still count here for that?
Yep. It's still active. Quit tossing caltrops.
Oh, that's an 18 on the dice. That's cool. 18 plus 3 plus 4.
18 plus 7, 25. Awesome.
Sorry, it bounced right out of my tray onto the floor. At least it didn't end up under my bed.
Yeah.
Are you resistant to
poison?
Okay, so not force damage?
Nope.
You take 12 points of force damage.
Okay.
And now I need you to give me a strength or athletics save or strength saving throw, excuse me. Strength
saving throw?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good doing that.
You get to add your D4 to it.
Hell yeah. Let's try this one. Ooh. 24.
As you pick up the stone, you feel something like hum, and all of you watch as there's a small puff, but what you feel is this force that just impacts your chest. So much that your feet are actually moved back. You slide back away from Satiel, holding the orb in your hand with both hands at this point in time. You don't go prone, but you're holding it in your hands now.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
Little wisps of like energy floating off of you.
I don't know what to do with it.
Satiel will just walk over and is like, "Do you need any help?"
I think I've got it. I think it's proven its point. Does that make sense? I've proven mine. Does that make sense?
I mean, I hope that thing knocked you back.
Zora will kind
Neat.
of like look over her shoulder, like kind of like covering her eyes, like that thing's like how like magic has a color, like certain magics have a color. That has all the colors.
Yes, Rincewind, magic does have a color.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, okay.
Makes you want to
It's-
just chuck it into the waste, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Detect magic can temporarily blind the caster if you're exposed to a source of magic that's too great for you to comprehend or grasp.
That's what it's doing.
Even through your eyelids that are closed, you can still see it. Like when you close your eyes outside, and it's kind of still.
It's gonna look at this wall over here, guys. Just let me know if you need me.
Stand in the corner in this round room.
Just like forehead against the wall, like this has been a really bad day.
All right, Burnus walks over to you and stares down at it. You should put that away.
I have a bag.
You
What
do,
sort
but
of a bag?
One that I could technically toss him into, as he points to Ezra.
please.
He points to the tiny pouch that's like this big.
Yeah, it's a bag. It's like a messenger bag.
Yeah.
All right, what are you doing, Ezra? What are you doing with it?
I feel like it's made a point, and I've already done something to maybe pass a test. I'll just hold on to it for now.
Are you gonna just carry it out in the open?
No, he has like a small set of pouches that he would have along his waist that he will put it into.
It's about the
I'll
size
wrap
of a
it up.
shot put ball. So
That's gross looking. Can I touch it?
He's got a good fanny pack, probably. That'd be fine, right?
Mhm.
Might have a little
Sure.
bit of weight. He'll like wrap it up in something. If anybody has anything to offer, that would be great. And then just slip it into one of the pockets.
okay, so you kind of wrap it around whatever you can find, like maybe one of the wraps on your own arm, and then you wrap it up and then toss it in there.
Mhm.
All right, you watch as Burnus nods in agreement with your choice and starts to clamber up the rope once more. As you guys follow along behind, you get to the top, and he unsecures the rope, wrapping it up, and then starts moving back, not in the way you came from, but continues like you're at a cross section at a T. You can continue in the direction which you would know is you were moving west. He turns and starts moving south because you always know which way is north there, Satiel.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts moving south.
Do you want us to keep following you?
I would advise you to follow me, yes.
Okay.
All right. And as you guys make your way through the tunnel, we're going to take a short break. So give us about 10, maybe 15 minutes to kind of stretch our legs, get some water, get refills. Please retweet, please share the love. If you can't support us anyway, other than that, we would greatly appreciate it. All the viewerships just mean that our standing with Twitch goes up, and we could really appreciate that. The D&D channel the D&D community is a small one, and so there is a very limited amount of numbers of viewers, and we would love to have more. I think we're all very entertaining and I hope you do too. Anyways, give us 15 minutes or so, and we'll be back. So say at the 8 o'clock hour. Well, 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock there, 6 o'clock if you're on the other coast.
Top of the hour.
Top of the hour. Thanks. All right, guys. We'll see you soon.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I forgive the pain you gave to me so long ago. Sleepless nights I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I can't wait to leave this town, 'cause lately I've been feeling down. The cold nights just don't feel the same. Oh, like my life inside a car. Hit the button, drive real far. But that record on me like, I'm dreaming of you, I dream of a new life. Fight in the dark till we see the sunlight. My love, it's you lately I've been feeling down. A little bit of light, a little bit of gold. Under pressure, you start to fold like a diamond from gold. Maybe you are something I cannot define. Maybe you are the fallen kind. I lay in bed with violence, the silent side of me. We see where fire starts to breathe. When I would lay in silence, the voice inside of me made me use my mind right. Day has passed like a hurricane to my heart, till it far away. See the lights on the other side. I'm going to get there.
All right. Welcome back. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us or waiting for us as we took a little break there. I wolfed down some chili and drank some green tea. How was your break? Anyways, we left off with you all climbing to the top and heading south. Bern is telling you all to follow along. He seems to stalk fast, moving quickly. He seems to have picked up his pace before being very careful. You watch, pulls out a torch and pauses just briefly to strike it, lighting up the tunnel passing it to Tangaroa. He doesn't stop, he doesn't look over his shoulder, but he kind of turns and mutters to the rest of you. Whatever you do, don't stop. As the shadows encroach, use the light to force them away. They'll be after us now. Move.
How long is this hall?
Well, you've only been moving about 50 or 60 feet down it right now. Like, those of you who had dark vision could still see, like, the oubliette that you all crawled out of.
Okay.
You move about another 80 feet, and then you take a right. You are now traveling west. You go for another 100 feet and take a left-hand turn, heading south once more. You keep following this path of twists and turns. He never slows down, and he seems to know exactly where he's going. You're not sure when or where, but soon you realize that the shaped tunnel that you've been traveling down has given way to the natural formation of rocks. It's been cleared out by hands, but it is no longer this smooth surface. You don't know at what point it was that you passed into this, but now you see that you're in this cavern. He slows his pace just a little bit. The end of our journey is coming soon. I'm sorry that we did not start on good terms, but in the short time that I've gotten to know you, I see that, Tonga, you are as of your word. Satael, thank you for the healing. He looks to you as a star and says, my apologies.
And mine as well. I can't imagine having your feathers pulled is very comfortable.
It wasn't the worst thing that's ever happened. And you watch as he takes and like pulls two of the like more downy ones and like gives them to you. And he says, my gift. You can tell them you won them from me fair and square.
My pleasure and my thanks.
Of course.
And then she takes like portions of her hair and just immediately braids them and works these feathers into the braids so that they're not lost.
Awesome. He looks at Zora and says, thank you for your kindness. Your timidity is not a weakness.
Thank you.
And he looks at Ezra and he says, you're impressive that you fight sob without blade. And he finally looks at Mello and goes, you're an odd one.
How you doing?
Jesus Christ.
It's kind of why we keep him around.
Melo's still trying to find something that rhymes with oubliette.
Or Strig, was it, right?
Strig was Fig. And
Oh, okay.
he says,
Something going into the cave, no need to dig. Something.
with a Strig. I do not like green eggs in hand.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at you and says, your kind words treat your fellows well. Also, forget rhymes with oubliette. And he starts off in a direction you can watch. There's the sound of trickling water, and you can see that as you come out of this little short passage, that there is a natural river form, probably a part of that one that you saw earlier. The rocks here have wonderful mineral growths, and you can see that the algae has given them shimmering colors of vibration or vibrant colors all along them. The torch catches and lights off of some of it. Up ahead, you see what appears to be two. At first, you think it's two natural formations. And as you get close enough, though, you can see, and that's the way he's leading you. As you get closer, you can see that they are not natural formations, but they're made to look that way. And there is an actual like covering door kind of thing. It's not like an open passageway. It looks like it's sealed up. As he gets to it, you watch as he puts his incredible strength and bulk behind the door and forces it open. As it does, there is the fluttering of leathery wings beating against the wind or the air, giving you the impression that you've awoken something that was sleeping. Small, tiny, furry creatures flutter out into the darkness around you. They're heard as they move. He ducks his head low and guides you, and you find yourselves after. You got to keep in mind this isn't minutes of walking. This has been probably the better part of an hour, almost, maybe more than that. Sateo, you realize. And as you start to move up the slope, your feet sticking in something that smells to high heaven and back. And it's sharp in your nose and sulfurous, and you realize you're slopping through bat guano. And you eventually... it now smells like rose hips. As you continue to mount this up, your feet trudging against it, eventually you get to where it is like stone and your feet are no longer on slick, and you can see a gray light up ahead of you. And eventually you emerge almost out of the ground with this little chasm that's made in the moors. As you mount up to the top, Hannah emerges looking around and she says, "Well, now we're good and lost, aren't we?"
Give it a minute.
We need to go that way.
Does he always do that?
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little
It's handy.
Who needs a map?
I
But we'd
Nothing
still
part. I like maps.
we'd still need a map. He just knows the direction.
Hey, can you draw a map?
Are you talking to?
Sateo.
Can you draw a map, Sateo?
Yeah. Why?
I have a cartography skill. Just
Maybe you should work together to make something up for Hannah, since she would like to have something to figure out where we are.
What time of day is it?
Yeah, what time of day is it?
It is later in the afternoon. Like the sun hasn't fully set, but the sky is still just a little gray.
It's 5:37.
We should probably get back to camp.
I grow weary of your fuckery. All right, so he declines assisting you in that, but will point you in the direction. You all are good of your words. That does not mean that I trust any others.
That's fair.
We would not ask you to. Will you be okay on your own?
Of course, my home isn't far from here.
Safe travels, friend.
And you as well.
But before you go,
Hmm.
and Satiel just in a moment, because he feels like it's the right thing to do, he will unfurl his massive white wings. And he'll reach back and pluck one of the white feathers out of his wings. And he will give it to him.
He looks at you with an arched eyebrow, kind of like oddly, but we are not one to turn away a gift. You are Evianus? No. But you are not human, are you?
No, I am a child of the Celestials.
may the wind carry you ever forward, and the ground be soft when you land. And he turns and starts to move away from you all. The journey back to the camp is not a hard one, and it doesn't take you a very long time since you're not moving in and around circles and in and out of corridors. And eventually you find yourselves cresting one of the walls, and the camp looks up in shock. Lambert moves over and says, "That isn't the way you all came in." Or
Found another way out.
So it seems.
It's a pretty interesting hidden passageway.
Hmm.
Probably an escape tunnel.
I'll stay above the ground.
Probably for a good thing. We had to outrun a small army of shadow demons.
I'll stay above the ground.
Good plan.
Hannah, did you find what you were looking for? I believe so. It's not in my possession, though, is it? And she turns and looks at Ezra.
She doesn't know that.
You're right. She was up at the top of the oubliette, so.
Mhm.
Did you at least tell her you found what you were looking for?
I don't think anybody did.
Ezra wouldn't have mentioned it because I don't really know what it is. I just think it's a big shot put that tried to fight me.
She says, "Nope, looks like we'll have to be doing some more delving." 2 more days? Lambert looks at her and says, "If you're paying for it, then we'll stay 2 weeks."
Zora kind of side eyes over at Ezra like,
Ezra just like, huh?
Buried.
I don't, never mind.
She had a rough day. I kind of figured that panic attack earlier was probably for the Banshee.
She just walks off.
I mean, we can hope.
All right, you guys settle in for the night.
Satya will take a moment. Once that happens, he'll find a place to sit off by himself for a little while. And he will reach out telepathically to Miliandra. And it's like, okay, so, hello again.
There is a feeling of greeting, like happiness. There's not really any words yet, but like something that's happy to see you.
So I could use some of your advice. Well, we found a blade that has a few wishes in it. I already used one to heal an injured soul, which led us to something that's called the Acumen Keystone. And I'm not sure what to do with it. It's not in my possession. It's in the possession of one of my friends whom I trust very much. But it is absolutely drenched in magic that I'm not even sure I could make sense of. And I'm weary about turning it over to somebody I don't know.
You feel a presence all around you and beside you at the familiar voice. Well, the unfamiliar familiar voice speaks. Why does everything have to be a problem for you to solve? Maybe you're pressing too much. Maybe this isn't yours. If it's too much for you, maybe you should look for someone else. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to ask for help. There's this land and this world is mysterious and unknown and full of things that you'll never see and full of things that you'll categorize and file away in that big brain of yours. Don't worry about the keystone. Or at least, I should say, don't get so focused on it that you lose your grasp on everything else. I have to go now. I'll be back soon, though. We have some matters to discuss, but I have to go for now.
All right.
It's not... Remember, not everything is a problem for you and you alone.
I'll try to remember that.
Good. And the warmth hangs around you for a moment, and then slightly fades away. Still like a teardrop size of it that just kind of nestles itself in you.
All right. And he'll go over to Ezra after that, pat him on the shoulder. Hey, I wasn't really thinking about it in the heat of the moment, but that that item you picked up, that is the keystone she's looking for.
Oh.
Yeah, it.
Well, I best let her know then, I guess.
Yeah. He'll look for Hannah real quick.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough to find her.
Hey,
she's jotting down many notes.
Hannah.
Yeah.
It I didn't really notice it in the heat of the moment, but one of the items we picked up in that mad dash out was your keystone.
She bursts from her tent and stomps her little halfling legs over to you. She puts a finger up in the air and she says, "Great! I'm glad to hear it. Could have told me a little earlier."
No, sorry.
I was the one that picked it up. I didn't see anything magical about it besides that it hit me in the chest. It didn't really hit me, it just pushed me.
A lot good at that it does. I've already paid for the next 2 days. No, it's fine. We'll write it off as an exceptional cost or something. I don't know.
I'll take the ball out of the pocket because he's just been sitting basically at this point, cross-legged for the whole time, and he'll unwrap it. We'll hold it up. He's not entirely offering it to her just because we're a little worried that it's gonna cause a little bit of damage to
You tell her that it did that to you?
Yeah. It did some damage, forced me back. I was able to hold on to it, but I don't know if it will do it again.
It's full of chaos is what it is. Just a moment. And she tucks back into her tent and comes back out carrying a leather bag that's zipped, and she puts it down. And she undoes the fastenings on it. And she starts rummaging around. She takes out this piece that looks like a pair of goggles, but they start to different rings and loops start to fall apart. She kind of tosses it to the side, and she pulls out what looks like a leather chest piece, but it's got small metal bands at different intervals. And she kind of looks at that for a second and tosses it to the side. And then she finally, aha! And she comes back up and she's putting on a pair of gloves. And you can see that they have metal bands around the rim, and she fastens those. And they have 3 metal pieces that come up the back of the hand to the finger, to the middle finger, and then to the ring finger. Nothing on the pinky, and she has both of those on. And then you watch as she she kind of reaches out and she adjusts the fasteners on there. She goes, well, either this will work or I'll be blown as far away as what we came out of that chasm. Good luck.
How about Ezra's gonna offer to, like, he'll put it down on the ground and then stand behind her, so if she goes flying, she's just gonna go flying into him.
Okay. She reaches down and she picks up this orb. And you watch as there's like you've seen like a solar flare or solar rip that kind of like moves around the sun and how it's tendril of it's like that, but it's like swirling massive energy that kind of rolls from the ball into the gloves and down. And then she kind of goes, whoa, that's something else there. She reaches and puts the whole thing into the bag, and then you hear her like moving and unratcheting the gloves, and then you hear the sound of them being like ratcheted back together. And she takes her hands out and she goes, that'll be the only time I ever do that again. You said, what did it do to you?
It did a bit of damage and forced me back a little bit.
Do you have all your teeth still?
He'll just smile.
That's all of them.
That's not terrifying as it is, but
Even the big pointy ones.
Yeah.
It felt like all of mine were being pulled from my mouth down to the orb. That's not
Still
very
kind of
pleasant
want
at
to touch
all.
it.
Did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
She says, feel free. Just tell me where to send the flowers.
Ezra will do the same thing. If Mello wants to touch it, he's gonna stand behind Mello. Just in case.
Maybe later.
Okay.
And anybody else want to be stupid and brave?
Satiel looks like he wants to, but
more
he is like
stupid than brave.
But he is like walking away.
And she redoes the fastenings on that and then pushes it into her tent.
Oh.
Well, and she goes into her tent and comes back out with her bedroll, and she closes the tent flaps and sleeps like right in front of the tent flaps. Well, I'm turning in. It's been a hell of a day. We met an owl.
Yep.
and he didn't eat me. It's a good day.
It was a big owl.
Did he even see her?
Yeah, he talked to her.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right. With that, watches and any conversing bits.
Before watches are even assigned, Zastari is going to move over and stand in front of Tangaroa. So, tell me, how long did you wait before coming after me?
Like 30 seconds.
Right. What did I tell you?
15 minutes.
And then when I said earlier, before that, we gotta go, what did you do?
Are they having this conversation in the open?
Yep. You looked in the hole. The dark hole. When you can't see in the dark.
So Tayo threw a light stone in the hole.
But you were gonna look without a light source and you can't see in the dark.
I just wanted to make sure it was safe.
Zora nearby is just going to very quietly say, do you constantly judge everyone's intentions and goodwill?
When they put me in danger and others in danger? Yes. We could have avoided the issue with the rust monsters if it had been listened to for us to leave. I would not have been in a hostage situation if somebody had trusted me to be able to take care of myself and do what I am good at. But instead, I am regarded as insignificant and what I say does not matter to you. Which, for somebody who's told us about emulating his father, doesn't bode well as a leader.
I just wanted to make sure you were safe.
Like, looks like she wants to say something and just walks off.
I can take care of myself. I have been doing it for 8 years, and I will do it for many more after we've parted ways. Your headstrongness here could have gotten people seriously hurt. When somebody says something, you need to take it into consideration. Not just assume that you know better. Whether your intentions are good or not. Because it could have been a very simple conversation of, well, why do we need to go? I could have pointed out that these are the signs of something is eating metal, and it's been here or it's recent damage. So we would have known something was there. Regardless of the fact that it already knew we were there because you decided to just bash it open with your shield. And then, when I am sneaking, something I am very skilled at doing, and tracking something down, having somebody come after me with a torch then puts my life in danger. Because you're revealing exactly where I am because you are coming after me. Trust that I am capable, or don't, but make up your mind. Azasari is going to get herself some food, and then go lay down for her 4 hours, because then she will get up and take the last 2 watches.
The wagon teams are standing there over the cook kettle and just kind of looking back and forth at one another. And then they all suddenly busy themselves with something. Anybody else?
Zora will volunteer for first watch.
Okay.
Satiel will join her.
Okay.
Ezra will take second.
All right. The last of the light fades from the day, and your night is quiet. Very, very quiet. As you go from watch to watch, Zora Satiel, other than the occasional, what sounds like rustle of wing in the air, you don't see anything.
She'll at some point kind of look over at Sato and be like, does the story always think she's in charge?
He'll pause for a moment. It's like, I don't entirely think that's it. She's someone who's used to looking after herself. Someone who knows what she wants and goes after it wholeheartedly. Despite whatever it is that's in her past, though I have a good idea of what it might be. I think she has a pretty strong drive to prove herself.
I think she has a pretty big stick up her butt.
Well, that's pride talking. Something I'm not immune to. As I've been reminded recently that I don't have to be the one that's in charge of everything.
It's true. We're all kind of stuck in this now, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good with recognizing magics and stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm familiar with all 8 common forms of the arcane.
I mean, I know magic because I didn't learn it from a book. I didn't learn it from a book.
So it's sort of innate then?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
When you get like bored or something, I can see different schools of magic well enough. I don't know enough about them. I mean, I know which one will make it something go boom. That's about it. I don't know a lot else. So, if you're bored and, need something to do aside from whatever it is you do, do you mind showing me what the different schools look like? Kind of.
Well, that will depend on the spell of that school, typically.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can cast some that I know. We'll have probably a long wagon ride to wherever we're going from here. Or 2 days to sit around and do nothing now, since we didn't let her know we had that big blindy ball thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, my initial thought was to try to hide it from her. I recognized it as soon as it dropped. But
Yeah.
I might just have to let things go sometimes. There's a lot more to this world that I will probably never see.
Did you ever leave Jopus Landing? That was your home, right? Before all...
Yeah, honestly, most of my life, I never even left the walls of the monastery.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot more.
But yeah, are you willing to listen to the lecture?
I have over half a dozen nieces and nephews. I can listen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Next time we have some free time then and we're not on watch, absolutely. I will teach you all that I know about the school of magic.
Hold you to it.
Which is a dangerous thing. No.
She's going to be like comatose from boredom at some point, just like...
What have I done?
It's like little kids talking about Pokemon cards.
Just everything freezes. Everything goes like sepia color. It's like, and it's at this moment, Zora knew she fucked up.
All right. So the two of you have your talk through the night until you end watch.
Most of the familiars keeping watch, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That owl always stays on watch.
You arise to awake Ezra.
I'll take second watch with Ezra. I didn't say that. Too.
Sure. All right. Your watch is started and it is quiet.
For like a lot of it, he'll seem very like distracted, like and distraught a little bit. And eventually he will say to Ezra, "Do you think I'm a bad leader?"
No?
Some people do, I guess.
Every young leader starts out somewhere. Whether they have people who think they know what's better than you do, that's what it is. Everyone has their fights. It's just really unfortunate that there's no conversation to be held. Tangaroa, you do have your foolhardiness, foolishness. Believe me, I probably would have attempted to climb down that hole myself if I would have fit, but I know I'm quite large, so there's no way I was going to get down there. No matter what a person's skills or talents are, nobody is good at everything. And everything takes time to learn. Whether you are forced to learn it, whether it just comes naturally. Tongaro, you are a good leader in your own right. Not everybody will see that right away.
I just hope Father won't be disappointed about this.
What would he have to be disappointed about?
He expects a great deal from me, and the reason why he sent me out on this is sort of like maybe like a test to see if how well I handle being sort of a faux leader, you could say. I'm in no means ready to just go home and do it, but when just a very brief practice of some people leading into battle, being smart about it. But you can't be a good leader without your people respecting you. And I don't think there's a lot of respect on some parts.
You can't lead the stubborn Tangaroa. She's lived her own life. We've all lived our own life. Me personally, watching you go headstrong into that hill giant, going down like that.
Move.
No. And I'll be the first to tell you that it was. There are more than just you that can hold the front line, that can help keep everyone safe. Putting yourself in danger like that means you don't have the full trust that maybe the rest of us can't hold. Satael, he's more than able to zone in a battle. Have you seen that man? Swings a blade as if it's on a string. You know?
And he's made out of tissue paper.
And he's made out of tissue paper. I can't believe it. You'd think he'd chop himself in half already, but it's not happening.
But somehow his AC's at 25.
Yeah, what's going on? He's fucking beefier than me, and he's like as skinny as a stick. I could probably snap him in half if he didn't have that blade in his hand. But no matter what it is, you need to learn everybody's strengths. I think that's where leadership really does lie. Putting everybody in a place that they will excel.
Father had always told me that somebody who bosses will sit back and command, but a leader will
Works
go out
with
and
them.
fight first. Maybe not.
Don't let that fight take you down first, though.
Well, maybe I took that a little bit too literally.
Just a little. Everybody has their strengths. Don't be afraid to use us for what they are. Better?
Whoops.
Do you feel better?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
That's all I can hope for.
I really appreciate. Are we sitting or standing? Out of character. Are we sitting or standing? Like, what?
Sitting!
Sitting. Okay. Then I will say I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And very cautiously lean my head over and rest it on his shoulder.
All right. All right. The rest of the watch passes noiselessly. You eventually realize what time it is, and you wake Starry.
Ezra
Or Starry comes out of her trance.
Ezra just sort of like stands in front of her. He doesn't like move to touch her or anything. It's just like, Zastari, I know you meditate. I realize you can wake up easily. It's your turn to take watch.
Thank you.
And that's it.
All right. You are sitting and watching.
We'll say during her watch, Mila, Sawtail's owl, will flutter down, land in her hair, sort of twiddle around and just make a nest out of the top of her hair, and just sit there.
Mila, that's going to be a pain to fix.
Just fluffing.
There is a sound of movement that catches your attention. It's not trying to be quiet or stealthy or anything else like that. The strong but older figure of Lambert walks over and looks at I assume the log or whatever you're sitting at. Mind if I?
Of course. Go ahead.
Thank you. And he sits down next to you, a cup in his hand. He takes a small sip, and you lot were gone for a while today. What did you run across down there?
Well, found ourselves a Avianis.
I wonder why they chose all these times to start revealing themselves.
Do I distinctly remember what I did at the very beginning of this campaign? Do I? Okay. Well,
very distinctly.
Very distinctly. Okay. Well, perhaps it's more of a question of maybe they finally feel comfortable revealing themselves.
Perhaps so. Maybe they've given in to forgiving choices that were made. This was, and he kind of looks around like the general area. He says, this was, folly, if you will. The hubris of men and elves and dwarves. Taking that which doesn't belong to them. Claiming it as their own. Without much regard to the people who were here before. Well, and he kind of points out, and you notice the nights that you've stayed in the moors, the one thing that you've always seen, bouncing lights, the will-o-wisps that were here and there throughout things. He motions his hand around. Either they're terrified of this location, or this is a sacred place. I'm not sure. And he takes another sip of the cup. I'm not sure I want to find out either direction.
It's a good thing we leave in the morning.
Indeed. I'm going to try to get some more sleep. My old bones had me tossing. He kind of looks at the cup for a moment and hands it to you. Feel free to finish that off. And then he rises with a kind of a creak and stretch.
Sleep well, Lambert.
Thank you. And he kind of like trudges off to his own tent and crawls back inside. The liquor in the cup swirls easily enough. It's got a sweet, like oak and burn smell to it. And if you try it, you can definitely tell that it's bourbon. And he handed you the last of it. It's probably about 3 fingers worth, so about that much in the cup.
Yeah, she'll sip it. She'll enjoy it. Bourbon's a sipping drink.
Yeah, it's got a nice sweet burn to it. So
it's something that she's familiar with, because that is probably that's one of the alcohols Midas enjoyed.
Awesome. The rest of the night passes with no eventfulness. The next morning, everybody starts packing up gear and stuff like that. Lambert and Hannah are having a discussion about the pay, and she's like, I know we said 2 more days, we wrapped up, and there's a whole conversation that they're having, but the men don't stop. They continue to pack all the gear up.
I say while that conversation is happening, Satya will go around and grab their party. Try to just get everybody together.
Okay.
Like, well, this is technically our first adventure. How are y'all feeling?
Everyone's like, we just woke up, man.
It's just got like a bowl of food, like
He's eating like porridge with hardtack, so it's just you hear.
it's food.
And then this. There it is, the thumbs up.
Hey.
All right.
I'm up for another adventure or two. How about you?
I'm doing okay.
I don't mind the journey.
Hmm.
Though I do miss home. But I think that just comes with the journeys in general.
Yeah.
Mm.
I dearly miss home too, but honestly, I think I'm starting to find out that home is kind of wherever your heart goes. And he'll just look at everyone. It's like, I think I'm starting to find it here with all of you.
Oh, he is definitely starting a song with that.
Oh god, Mello, is way too early in the morning for that.
I know we all have our differences. Some of headstrong, some of pride, some of knowing too damn much. But honestly, I think all of us together, we can make something great.
It's too early for this. I'm going to get more food.
Wait, me too.
Did Hannah say where we're going anyways?
She stomps over about that time. You can see her face is a little terse. Well, they're not going to give me back the 2 days, even though I told you done. We wrapped up. It's okay. We'll settle it up later. Deal. Are you up for a few more days of traveling?
Where are we going?
north.
Any is north like where north?
Well, eventually Ferryton, and then out across the straits to the Walsh Islands. Well, to Walsh Island. There's a keep there that belongs to my order, and I'd like to.
Can I make a history check?
Mm-hmm.
Are any of those towns familiar to Zora?
Was that a nat 20 that you're playing at? Okay.
That's a 31.
Okay. Are any of the towns familiar to her? Yeah, probably. Well, like, anyone from the northern part of the continent would know Ferryton. It's like one of the larger cities there. It is
Probably got good there kind of thing.
What's that?
Her father's store probably imported a lot from there.
Right. This would be of particular interest to Ezra, as that's very near to where his home would be.
Okay,
Well,
his tribe.
Yes, his
Or
tribe.
Ew.
His tribe. Mom has probably made port in Ferryton on
Okay.
more than one occasion.
Okay. Mom excited. Tribe.
So you got a what total for your, and what were you looking for in word wise?
Total was a 31.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wanted to know if, like, the order in general, really, like what would be on that island that would be of knowledge.
There's not much on that island. You know that there is very little establishment. Think of it as like the tundra. It's a very much is it green? It's very much like a Greenland kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a whole lot in the way of. It's a very hard place to live. So,
all right.
But Lambert says, "All right, everyone, load up. We're leaving." And his men start moving the carts. It takes you another 4 days to get out of the Achaemen Moors. Before you loom trees, a rocky ground with trees that haven't got deep set roots, except for occasionally you'll see one. A forest that opens up to the northeast. Large blue-green spruces and other trees are shot throughout here. It resembles a lot like the Scottish Highlands. It's beautiful, if not harsh and a little eerie. There's a wagon making its way towards you. Sitting in the front of the wagon is a man dressed in armor. He has a small contingency of followers with him. He hails you all and introduces himself as Barrack. And that is where we're going to end tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. And the Banshee fight was pretty cool. And we got more mystery and more exploration of it as you escort yet again Hannah to her next destination. A huge shout out to Maddie, who is playing the Starry. Tell us what you have coming up, so that way we can gush with one another. What do we have coming up? Thursday, you have nothing.
For 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
For 3 weeks.
That's right. 3 weeks. And then you'll be back with what?
We start Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus.
Awesome. Also, if you are in the Indiana area, specifically like Fort Wayne, you can catch myself and Maddie and Q. And I believe that our buddy Steve is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
All at Winter Fantasy. It is Adventure League, D&D 5th Edition Adventurers League, all week long.
There are tier 1, 2, 3 epics. There's Eberron. There's Esper Genesis is actually there. There's a bunch of other stuff that's going on. So it's all being put on by Baldwin Games. It's it's a convention, but it's really just a gigantic organized play for like 4 days, and it's D&D related. We'll be there. I'll be there running D&D games. My friends Carl and Sarah, who are friends of our channel, will be there doing the LARP. They did the LARP at Gen Con for this group, for this team, and they're actually back to reprise their roles in the LARP. I hope to see all of you there, or anybody who can make it. I know that I will be there, and I'm excited for it. This will be my first trip to this particular show, so it should be entertaining. We are also going to be back tomorrow with Esper Genesis. That will have Sarah and Eric playing in it. Eric, who is playing Satiel tonight, and Sarah, who is playing Zora. And then on Wednesdays, we have Q, who is running our game of Monster of the Week. This will be what, the first official episode or the second? This will be the second episode of Monster of the Week, powered by the Apocalypse. And you guys should tune into that. If you aren't and you would like to catch up, I will go ahead and tell you now, and I'll make the announcement. Obscurum has 2 more episodes. This Wednesday and next. And then Obscurum is going away. Obscurum is done. We're wrapping. That's okay, though. I'll be back soon with something else. And I'm excited about it, because if it's going the way that I'm hoping that we're talking and planning, this is going to be a chaotic mess, and I love it. I'm excited to jump in with both feet, full belly flop into it. A huge shout out to Steve, who is playing our very own very mellow, and a shout out to our paladin with the heart of gold and in need of a little guidance, but still a heart of gold. Molly, who is playing as Tangaroa. We want to thank everybody. I am again Heath, DM for this evening, as I am every Monday. If we don't see you later on this week, hopefully we'll see you again next Monday. In the meantime, thank you all so much for all of the support. Have a wonderful evening. Bye now.